So Ethereum is on the run, it's outperforming Bitcoin, and it's really kickstarting this out season. So today we're going to talk about Ethereum. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Crypto Corner, your go-to place for all things crypto. My name is OJ, crypto analyst and investor since 2016. It's been now 10 years that I'm in this industry, and my money was mostly in Bitcoin and Ethereum until last year, when Bitcoin yet again took center stage, and all the money, everything was actually flowing into Bitcoin. And of course we did have some meme coins and other ones, AI and RWAs that pumped and everything, but we didn't really have a proper out season, and Ethereum was really losing its value against Bitcoin greatly. So last year, for the first time, I sold off all of my Ethereum, I exited all of my Ethereum positions, and we're talking hundreds of Ether that I was accumulating for the last 10 years. And that was my only altcoin long-term position. Bitcoin and Ethereum were the only two coins that I was holding throughout the last bear cycle. And typically, through bear cycles, I don't really want to be holding any altcoins. And Ethereum was the only one. But I did get rid of it last year when it started really losing its ground against Bitcoin. And I relocated the funds into Bitcoin and other coins and everything. Now I'm finally coming back into Ethereum. I mean, I'm already positioned in Ethereum for the last month, but I'm going to be increasing my position now because I'm seeing that Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin and most likely will outperform Bitcoin over the next few months as well. So, of course, I'm not really switching from Bitcoin to Ethereum entirely or anything like that, but I'm increasing my position in Ethereum, which was a relatively small position compared to what I used to hold until last year. Right. So I'm going to go into the chart of Ether now and set up some price targets and everything. But first, did you know that over 900,000 Ether has been lost due to errors, due to user errors mainly, is what You Today is claiming in this article here. And in fact, they're quoting the Coinbase director, Conor Grogan, who has revealed that over 913,111 Ether, to his estimate, has been lost forever, he says, due to user error. At current prices, this is a total of $3.4 billion worth of Ether that has been lost. And they're giving some examples here. For instance, they say the Parity wallet, which was used by the Web3 Foundation, implemented multi-sig functionality, but the contract that governed access to these funds got destroyed. Roughly 306,000 Ether, costing $95 million at the time, ended up being frozen. You cannot move them, you cannot do anything with them. So they're basically locked into what is known as an Ether address, address that is basically eating your coins. No hard fork was released in the aftermath of that incident, and the frozen funds are still visible on chain. The now defunct Canadian crypto exchange also, Quadriga CX, had stored around 60,000 Ether in wallets that were not properly documented. Some of that Ether was reportedly sent to incorrect smart contracts. So again, we're talking about Ether that has been lost, basically locked into wallets that either the private keys are lost or they're incorrect smart contracts. Therefore, they're basically sending them to the wrong address. Therefore, these coins are now locked in there and cannot be accessed, cannot be used. In 2022, these are not the only two incidents. In 2022, the Akutars NFT project by former MLB player Mika Jackson ran a Dutch auction mint for its non-fungible token collection. However, two key smart contract bugs caused a disaster with $34 million, ending up being unrecoverable. And there's thousands of users who have also sent Ether to burn or null addresses due to typos in address inputs or other reasons. According to Grogan, 25,000 Ether has been collectively sent to burn addresses. That said, he also admits that the 3.4 billion amount likely undershoots the actual amount of lost Ether. And of course, I can agree with that, because typically we cannot know all of the incidents and everything. We only know about the larger ones, the bigger ones, the ones that include, that involve institutions or all kinds of companies and things that are being reported. There's also a lot of, private users that might have lost smaller amounts that we would never know. And because they're smaller amounts, you don't really hear about them or anything. But overall, they could amount to, something more substantial. If we're talking, thousands, maybe perhaps even hundreds of thousands of users might have got some kind of Ether lost. It could be just, less than 0.10, but it doesn't matter if we're talking hundreds of thousands of people, or at least many thousands of people, it could actually be another few thousand Ether that has been lost. Also, they say that this amount quoted here doesn't cover lost private keys. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, I have several Ether wallets. If I were to lose one of my private keys for any of these wallets, then I would not be reporting about it. I might make a video or something, talking about it, but it's not something that you're gonna hear in the news about. So nobody who is keeping track on these things would actually know that I've lost, let's say 100 or 200 Ether or anything like that. Luckily, that wasn't the case, because that's what I was holding in my ledger. And luckily, I was able to send it and sell it last year, just before Ether dropped even lower and everything. In fact, Ether, with all of its gains in the last few weeks and everything, with the recovery that it's making, it's still below my sell price. And my sell price was in Bitcoin, not in dollars, because I don't really care what Ether is doing in dollars. In fact, we're going to be looking now at the price in dollars, because I know that you guys are trading Ether in dollars, so that's what you care about. But typically, I'm interested in what Ether is doing against Bitcoin, not against the dollar. Because my whole purpose of trading any altcoin, anything other than Bitcoin, the whole reason for doing that is to actually grow my Bitcoin. So if I'm going to be growing my Bitcoin by investing in altcoins and trading altcoins, then I need to make sure that when I'm holding these coins, they're outperforming Bitcoin. If they're not going to be outperforming Bitcoin, I would be closing positions and swapping them for other tokens, something that will be outperforming Bitcoin. So with that said, let's take a look at how is Ether doing, and is it going to be outperforming Bitcoin? Well, first, we're looking at the price in a dollar, and after that, I will look at the price in Bitcoin against Bitcoin. And this is here the 1 hour chart. So in the very short term, what we are seeing is that we had a nice and clean breakout here from this descending triangle, which is a bullish formation. So this was to be expected. However, what I'm seeing is that we are making something somewhat of a double top here. It's too early to say, to make the claim that it is a double top. For this to be a double top, we need to see a drop here. But it looks to me, with this stochastic RSI getting in the overbought region and simple RSI already, very high here, not yet in the severe overbought region, but just coming out of that area, which is an area where usually when we see the simple RSI getting into this area here, this is when we see pullbacks, and this is why we saw a pullback over the last few days, and not few days, yesterday actually we saw the pullback, and then we dropped here into a slightly safer region, but we are still very close to that severe overbought zone. So entering this overbought zone in both RSI indicators is still telling us that we should be expecting more pullbacks. And with that, I'm actually seeing that most likely we will struggle to break here this resistance from our local high here. And with that, if we actually fail to break above it, we are going to confirm a double top, which in the short term, because we are on the 1 hour chart, in the short term indicates a pullback, but it doesn't mean that Ether is going to be crashing or making a big correction or anything like that. So the main thing here right now is to see if we're going to be able to have a breakout. If the bulls are actually able to step in here, get more aggressive and push it above this price to make a higher high, this is what we want to see. This is going to indicate a strong rally coming up. And I do believe that we have a strong rally coming up. The question is it going to be this week, or are we going to be waiting and having a kind of a longer pullback and a longer correction to establish a proper support and everything, which would make sense? This is something that I'm expecting. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart, and the 4-hour actually indicates that most likely we are going to see that double top forming, because we are in the overbought region in the simple RSI. So how I'm playing this in the short term, I've already accumulated. So I do have some Ether that I'm holding now for the longer term, that I accumulated over the last few weeks, and then I have some Ether that I've allocated just for short-term trading. So as I saw this breakout here, I entered, and now I'm waiting to see where we're going to get that rejection, and I'm expecting that the rejection is coming very soon, possibly in the next few hours. And then I will be offloading as I see a rejection, waiting for the next drop, next kind of pullback to retest support, and then I will be scooping it again. Now the first support is this 12 moving average here, but that's not really a strong support. The stronger support is the 50th moving average, and in fact I'm not really going to be looking at the 1-hour chart for support. I will be looking here at the 4 hours, and then we can actually look at this moving average, again the 12th moving average on the 4-hour chart. It's actually proving to be a decent support in the short term. A lot of the times we come here to touch this support, and then we bounce from it. As we bounce from that support, we are maintaining our bullish structure, we are keeping the momentum, and the momentum is even growing. So this is good news. That's exactly what's been happening, as you can see here, over the last few weeks. Definitely over the last week, but even before that, it's been now a few weeks that we are seeing this kind of behavior, where we actually touch this support line, this moving average. Even if we drop below it, we drop very quickly, very briefly below it, and in this case we actually found the support at the 50th moving average, which is our strongest support. The 50th is actually when we are doing proper pullbacks, minor corrections, and then we stop at the 50th moving average, and this is also very bullish. But definitely these are the two moving averages that I'm monitoring all the time, and as we stay above these moving averages, things are looking good. We can ride the wave. As we start dropping, if we break below the 12th moving average, this is our alert. It's not necessarily a signal to sell, because as I said, a lot of the times we break this moving average, but we find the support at the 50th. However, breaking the 50th moving average, this is already a signal that we should be closing positions, and that we could be looking at a short-term bearish trend, or just a downtrend for a few days or anything like that. And if that is to happen, you don't really want to be sitting on your Ether. You want to close positions and then rebuy lower prices. This is what happened here. So as you see, we actually broke the 12th moving average. We lost the support of that 12th moving average, and we came down here to retest the 50th, didn't find the support there, broke below it, and we even broke below the 89th moving average, which is very similar to the 100. I'm just using the 89th because it's coinciding with Fibonacci levels more accurately and everything. But as we broke that, this was a strong indicator that you need to get out of the trade. And this is what I was doing here. So we went lower, we did have lower prices, and then we made an attempt of recovery. Very briefly, we managed to get above all of these moving averages. So for a moment, things were looking good. But as we came to test the support again, to retest this, we lost it. We didn't manage to sustain that move. And as we dropped again below these moving averages, we actually went much lower. Now this is even more important, because the daily is really showing us the longer term. So as we break below the 50th moving average on the daily, we are actually entering a longer term bear trend, and you don't really want to be sitting in any coin, not just Ether, but any coin, if it's breaking below the 50th moving average on the daily. And the 50th is the orange line, okay? So just showing you here what happened as we broke below that 50th moving average. We did that in January 2024, and we stayed below that moving average until May this year. As I said, I'm now back in Ether, and as long as we maintain above the 50th moving average on the daily, I'm keeping my longer term positions. So watch out for this. If you see that we are breaking the 12 moving average, this is your first signal that maybe we are going to be turning a trend. And as we come to retest the 50th, if we lose that moving average, this is your signal to exit. Okay, so again, what are we looking at here? Well, we are seeing that while I'm talking, Ethereum is making a bold move here towards this resistance. The resistance is sitting right now at 3,824, 25. We are at 3,811, so this is a very good move. It's indicating that we do have a strong momentum here and the bulls are really stepping in. However, as I said, stochastic RSI and simple RSI are both touching here the overbought region, so I'm expecting that we will get a rejection from this level. And if we get a rejection from this level, then where can we expect Ethereum to go? Well, first of all, we do have the 3,800 level, which is, we just broke that, so I believe that this would be easy. 3,781 is another support, and 3,768 is another support. I personally want to see us bounce from this, because if we come below this level here, I mean, we could come slightly lower to the 3,755, but this is where we have to bounce in order to continue the bullish momentum. This will be a higher low, so that will be good. Anywhere lower than that is not going to be good news, because we will be coming back to our previous low and we will be risking making a lower low, which could be a trend reversal. I don't think this is the most likely scenario, but it is one that is possible, so I have to outline it. But these are the price targets on the way down, so if you didn't jump in Ether and you're looking for a good entry or something, then wait for that pullback and wait for this kind of price at around 3,760, 3,750. This is what I'm expecting in the short term over the next couple of days for Ether. And of course, after that, I'm expecting a continuation of the rally. Now, this is against Bitcoin. This is actually looking nice, because this is a bullish pattern here that we are forming, and very soon we will be making a breakout. Typically the breakout is on the upside, so I'm liking how this is looking here. And also what I'm liking is that we have a strong potential here of going much higher. Typically this is how we estimate possible target price, and in this case our target is going to be, for the next run, is going to be at 0.034 in Satoshi. Right, so this is good news. This is actually close to the price where I was selling my Ether last year. So it will be great to see it come back to that price. It's an important level, but for me, Ethereum is really starting to get appealing when it's in the 0.005 region. So 0.0, not 0.05 region in terms of Bitcoin price. And then, you know, even higher. But we will need a lot more aggressive buying from the bulls to be actually taking us above this 0.05 level, which as of right now is sitting quite far from us, right? But yeah, things are looking bullish here. This is the short time frame. Let's take a look at the 4 hour. The 4 hour is actually showing us that we are in the overbought region on the RSI. So it's possible that even against Bitcoin, Ethereum is going to make a pullback, and we're going to see how deep that pullback can be. And this is here the daily chart, and the daily chart is also, it's actually looking even worse. We have the stochastic RSI in the overbought region already starting to make a cross on the downside, so already indicating that against Bitcoin we are looking at a pullback. The simple RSI is in the severe overbought region, actually levels that we haven't seen in quite some time, in a very long time actually. So these are levels here on the daily that we saw in May 2021. Wow, guys, we are right now in the RSI. We are literally at the same level that we touched in 2021 in May, and we have never revisited that level since. The momentum in Ether is really strong right now. It's outperforming Bitcoin, as you see, for the first time in at least 2 years. So very good momentum for Ether. I'm expecting in the short term that it will be making a pullback against Bitcoin. Of course, this was quite a strong rally here. It's unsustainable. We need to see a pullback. We need to establish some support levels and then continue. So it's going to give us some good entry points. Be patient. Do not rush into buying anything, especially do not rush into buying during green days, during big pumps. Always wait for the correction that is following the pump, and ideally buy during red days when everything is bleeding by 3, 5, 10%, 15%, even 20%. We do get these, even during a strong bull rallies, we do get these kind of corrections. So this is the time to be buying, not right now as we are pumping, and especially as we are in the overbought region and we are approaching a pullback. Now, a reminder, just like I emphasized the importance of using cold wallets, the OneKey Pro stands out as my top recommendation for safeguarding your digital assets. This model is equipped with not 1 but 4 security chips with the highest industry standards. But what I love most about the OneKey Pro is that it has air-gapped signing capabilities, so you can securely confirm transactions without ever connecting to the internet. This is done by scanning QR codes, and there is a camera to facilitate this. There is also Bluetooth connectivity should you wish to use that. It makes it unique because it is the first device of its kind to offer both Bluetooth connectivity and air-gapped mode. I prefer air-gapped most of the time, but if I'm in a rush, I would use the Bluetooth option. I have a choice, which is great. And there's other things that make it worth your money, like the biometric authentication, which is just adding an extra layer of security. Plus, it supports thousands of cryptocurrencies. The list is too long to go through it here. And it's also the first cold wallet with wireless charging capability. These are all unique features that no other device currently offers. It's super lightweight and compact, fitting easily in my pocket or bag, ideal for my travels throughout the year. And whether you're at home or on the move, this wallet seamlessly integrates with both desktop and mobile phones. And the best part, you get 10% discount with my link, the most of any other YouTuber out there. So use the link, it's in the description below, or you can scan this QR code to get the discount. And this is for all of the OneKey products, not just for this wallet. I also love the touch model and even the older one, the OneKey Classic. They're very easy to use. The OneKey Classic is the most simple one, but also it is the thinnest and the lightest of all of them. So it is perfect for on the go. It doesn't have a full color display and it's not that easy to navigate with just 4 buttons. But for simple stuff and for long-term holdings where you don't really have to make too many transactions too often, it is perfect. So there's plenty of choice. You can download my free ebook where I break down these and many other devices currently on the market, so you can compare and choose the right one for you. Remember, always own your private keys and keep your crypto safe. And while you're here, just pick another one of my videos and I'll see you there.